Welcome to Sampling Sudoku. Before we begin our journey, let's take a look at how the game of Sudoku came to be and some of its benefits. Though its roots are in ancient number games, I don't think most people realize that the modern Sudoku game was actually developed in the 17th century by mathematician Leonhard Euler. It became popular in the mid-1980s when Japanese puzzle maker Maki Kaji widely distributed the game. Since then, variants of the game have been developed using letters, colors, symbols, combinations of letters and numbers, and even some computational skills. These are the topics we're going to cover in this presentation. It covers the basics of Sudoku. By the end of this presentation, you will have the knowledge and skills to solve complex or simple Sudoku puzzles. Sudoku is a brain workout that is fun and challenging for both the young and old. It improves mental focus such as critical thinking and logic skills. You don't need mathematical ability. There's no adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. You only need to be able to count from 1 to 9. Schools use Sudoku to help promote number skills and logic in children. Typical 9x9 puzzles are in newspapers and magazines. This means 9 rows, 9 columns, and 9 quadrants, each containing the numbers 1 through 9, not in sequential order. Sudoku is a number puzzle in which the numbers 1 through 9 must be placed into a grid of cells so that each row or column contains only one of each number. This is the Sudoku terminology illustrated by an example of a 9x9 Sudoku puzzle. The large square contains 9 columns, 9 rows, and 9 quadrants. As you solve this puzzle, you will need to consider any values already displayed in each of the columns, rows, and quadrants. How do you play Sudoku? There's only one simple rule. Each Sudoku row, column, and quadrant must contain the numbers 1 through 9. Only once each, not necessarily in numerical order. For the purposes of this course, you will see a demonstration solving a 4x4 Sudoku puzzle, but the principles are the same. With a 4x4 Sudoku puzzle, the same rule applies, only each column, row, and quadrant contain the numbers 1 through 5, not necessarily in numerical order. Now that you know the terminology and the rules, it's time to try and solve a simple 4x4 Sudoku puzzle. This example contains 4 quadrants, 4 rows, and 4 columns. It uses the numbers 1 through 4. Quadrant 1 is in the upper left corner containing the numbers 3 and 1. Quadrant 2 is in the upper right corner containing the numbers 4 and 2. Quadrant 3 is in the lower left quadrant containing the numbers 2 and 4. And the Quadrant 4 is in the lower right containing the numbers 1 through 3. There's no one way to solve a Sudoku puzzle, but there's only one answer. The techniques shown here are merely suggestions of how to solve a puzzle. As you become more experienced, you will find other techniques that work best for you. Now we're going to solve the value for Quadrant 1, Row 1, Column 2. Looking at the puzzle, notice that you already have a 3 and 4 in row 1. This means the value for row 1, column 1 cannot contain a 3 or 4 because you cannot repeat a number in a quadrant, row, or column. Looking at column 2, you already have a 1 and 4, which means column 1 and 2 cannot contain a 1 or 4 due to the no repeat rule. Finally, the first quadrant at the upper left contains a 3 and a 1. By process of elimination, the only number that will satisfy the no repeat rule is the number 2. It's easy to see that column 1 and row 1 are solved by the number 1. Row 2 is complete using the number 3. You're well on your way to solving this puzzle. You can easily solve the remainder of this puzzle by looking for quadrants, columns, and rows that are already nearly complete. In this example, columns 3 and 4 can be solved using the process of elimination. By solving for these values, you can then fully complete the puzzle. This is how the completed puzzle looks. You've gotten to this point through a process of elimination, logic, and some simple strategies. While this is a simple puzzle, the same processes and strategies apply to any Sudoku puzzle. As you become more experienced solving Sudoku, you can also refer to online sites that offer additional techniques. This is just the start of an exciting journey. Here are some hints that will help you solve puzzles. It's always easier to begin solving a puzzle by starting in the row, column, or quadrant that displays the most numbers. Can't get enough of Sudoku? Now you can play anywhere. You have now gotten the skills to begin solving Sudoku puzzles on your own. Remember, the thought and logic process for solving a 4x4 Sudoku is no different than any used in any other Sudoku puzzles. Sudoku puzzles are available in magazines, newspapers, books, and there are many online where you can find free puzzles. Also, there are online sites and books that offer strategic advice for creating more complex Sudoku puzzles. As you become more experienced solving these puzzles, you may want to refer to these resources. For now, just practicing playing Sudoku to discover for yourself works best for you. Sudoku has only one answer, but you can get there in a variety of different ways. Finally, Sudoku isn't just fun. It improves memory, attention, problem solving, focus, and reasoning.